A warlord is a person who has both military and civil control over a subnational area due to the presence of armed forces who are loyal to the warlord rather than to a central authority. Description: the term can also mean one who espouses the ideal that war is necessary, and has the means and authority to engage in war. Today, the word has a strong connotation that the person exercises far more power than their official title or rank legitimately permits. Under feudalism, by contrast, the local military leader may enjoy great autonomy and a personal army, and still derive legitimacy from formal fealty to a central authority. Warlordism is a term coined to describe chaos at the end of the Qing dynasty and the birth of the Republic of China, from the death of Yuan Shikai in 1916 until 1928. This period is called the Warlord Era of China. It can however be used to describe similar periods in other countries or epochs such as in Japan during the Sengoku period, or in China during the Three Kingdoms. The word warlord entered the English language as a translation from the German word Kriegsherr, which was an official title of the German emperor. Its use for Chinese military commanders who had a regional power base and ruled independently of the central government dates from the early 1920s, with Bertram Lennox Simpson being one source, according to the Oxford English Dictionary. Modern usage: warlordism frequently appears in failed states, states in which central government and nationwide authorities have collapsed or exist merely formally without actual control over the state territory. They are usually defined by a high level of clientelism, low bureaucratic control, and a high motivation to prolong war for the maintenance of their economic system. Examples: other countries and territories with warlords include Afghanistan, Iraq, Burma, Russia, the Democratic Republic of the Congo, Libya, Sudan, Somalia, the Philippines, Pakistan and Tajikistan. China: warlords exercised widespread rule in China several times in Chinese history, notably in the period starting from the Xinhai Revolution, when numerous provinces rebelled and declared their independence from the Qing dynasty in 1911, and especially after Yuan Shikai's death, until the Northern Expedition in 1927. This was a period known as the Warlord Era. Despite the superficial unification of China in 1927 under the rule of the Kuomintang under Generalissimo Chiang Kai-shek, warlordism remained a problem until the victory of the Communist Party of China in 1949. Han Dynasty and Three Kingdoms 190 euro 280 equals, Cao Cao, Dongtuo, Gongsun Zan, Sun Se, Sun Quan, Li Bei, Li Biao, Li Zhang, La 1/4 bushel, Ma Tang, Yuan Shu, Yuan Shu. Equals Tang Dynasty 618 euro 907 equals, the end of the Tang Dynasty brought the highest number of warlords in Chinese history, and it is known as the Five Dynasties and Ten Kingdoms period. Anshi Rebellion. Equals Song and Jin Dynasties 1115 euro 1234 equals, Puyan Wanu, Fang Zai. Equals Ming Dynasty 1368 euro 1644 equals, Chen Yuliang, Mao Wenlong, Zhang Zilong. Equals Qing Dynasty 1644 euro 1911 equals, Nian Zhengyao, Yuan Shikai. Equals Republic of China 1916 euro 1928 equals. There were 12 warlords who served as area commanders officially: Zhang Zuolin euro Old Marshal, Rain Marshal, or Mukden Tiger. Zhang Zuliang euro Young Marshal. Zhang Zongchang euro the Dog Meat General. Feng Yaoyang euro the Christian General. Bai Kongxi euro the Muslim General. Yan Zishan euro the Model Governor. Wu Puifu euro the Jade Marshal. Europe. Warlordism in Europe is usually connected to various mercenary companies and their chieftains, which often were de facto power holders in the areas where they resided. Such free companies would arise in a situation when the recognized central power had collapsed, such as in the Great Interregnum in Germany or in France during the 100 Years' War after the Battle of Poitiers, and in the Kingdom of Scotland during the Wars of Scottish Independence. Free company mercenary captains, such as Sir John Hawkwood, Roger de Flor of Catalan Company or Hugh Carvely, could be considered as warlords. Several condottieri in Italy can also be classified as warlords. Igo Gales Galama was a famous Frisian warlord, and so was his cousin Pirgal of Stonia, who was the leader of the Erema Black Heap. The imperial commanders-in-chief during the reign of Emperor Maximilian I did hold the title Kriegsheer, of which the direct translation was warlord, but they were not warlords in sense of the word defined. Russian Civil War and Chechen conflicts. Warlordism was widespread in Civil War era Russia. Many territories went under control of either Red government in Petrograd or White governments in Omsk and Rostov. These territories were controlled by warlords of various political colors. Anarchist warlords Nestor Makhno, leader of Free Territory, and his ally Maria Nikiforova operated in Ukraine. The Cossack ataman Semyonov held territories in Transbaikalia region, and the bloody Baron Ungern von Sternberg was the dictator of Mongolia for a short time. Note that the white generals such as Kolchak or Denikin are not considered warlords, because they created a legitimate, though troubled government and military command. The term warlord was frequently used when Russia and Chechen conflicts that were reignited in the 1990s. Korea, during the last years of the Kingdom of Silla, also known as the later Three Kingdoms, various warlords rebelled against the government and were in de facto control of the Korean peninsula. The warlordism in Korea plagued the nation until Goryeo dynasty finally defeated and merged all the warlords and united the country once again. Wang Gun, Gung Yi, Gyeonhwan Yang Gilbert, Jiahwan, Ajagi, Wang Sunsik. Vietnam. 12 Warlords War A historical era between 945 AD to 967 AD ended by a and bar unregistered trademark la copyright NH, a retainer of the warlord Tras section N la pound M. Ngak She degree Ng Zab held bar NH Kieu, now Kui Ka sent you, Hung Yen province. Ea, Ka pound NH Thosi referred himself as the Duke Ea, Ka pound NH, held A unregistered trademark Ng Jiang, now Than Hui, Hatay province. Tra section N la pound M referred himself as the Duke Tra section N Min, held bar Ha pound I Ka Yen Yu, Ka cubed bar, Tai Bin province. Kia Yu Ka Ng Ha pound N referred himself as Kia Yu Tam Ka, held Fong Ka Cent Ua Euro bar Ch Ha Si, Phu Thu province. Nguyen Cohen referred himself as Nguyen Thai bar NH, held Tam Aai, bar copyright NH Thai degree ONG, Vin Phuc province. Nga Nhat Ka NH referred himself as the Duke Nga La Pound M, held E degree ONG La Cent M, Hatay province. La 1/2 Kwa referred himself as La 1/2 La Pound NG, held Siu Loi, Thwa. Ntha NH, Bac Ninh province. Nguyen Tho section Tia P referred himself as Duke Nguyen La NH, held Tia Ndu, Bac Ninh province. La Pound E degree ONG referred himself as the Duke La Pound Ta, held Ta Jiang, Va Florin N Jiang, Hung Yen province. Nguyen Siu referred himself as the Duke Nguyen Ha Yu, held Ta Cent Y fair to the first Lia T, Than Htra, Hana and registered trademark I. Kia Yu Thuen referred himself as the Duke Kia Yu La NH, held Ha Ha Ka copyright M Ka, Hatay province. Fair Bar Ch Ha referred himself as Fair M Fair squared Ngat, held AA plus or minus Ng Ka sent you, Hung Yen province. La 1/2 dynasty toward the end of the La 1/2 dynasty, the central government failed to execute its legitimate authority, giving rise to many local warlords, later conquered by Chancellor Tra section N Tho section A unregistered trademark of the Tra section N clan. La dynasty years of unrest and civil war between La and Ma Si courts during the 16th century saw many warlords rise and fall. The Va copyright clan in Tua and Quang enjoyed their autonomy for 200 years before subdued by La force. The Nguyen clan took control of Thuan Hui, paved way for the Dang Trong entity. Mongolia. After the fall of the Mongol Empire, Mongolia was divided between the eastern and western Mongols. At the time of disintegration, many warlords tried to enthrone themselves or rule the Khanate jointly, however, there had been powerful de factos in all parts of the Mongol Empire before. Mongol Empire Yuan dynasty, Bayan of the Merkid, El Timur of the Kipchaks or the Kachins. Golden Horde, Nogai Khan, Mamai, Edigai. El-Khanat, Chupan, Hussam Buzurg, Hussam Kikek. Shagatai Khanat, Kazagan, Amir Balorji of the Dulat, who raised Tula Timur Khan. Timur, who would become Great Tamerlane. Northern Yuan dynasty Togun of the Oirats, Arutai, Teshi of the Asut, Isin Teshi, the Oirat leader who enthroned himself the Khan of the Mongols and captured the Emperor of Ming China. Iburai Teshi of the Kochin or Ordos. Bekasin of the Mongolian. Bogd Khanat Mongolia, Damajor, Baron Ungern von Sternberg. See also. References, Notes. Further reading, Lezhnev, Sasha. Crafting Peace, Strategies to Deal with Warlords in Collapsing States. Plymouth 2005, ISBN 978-0-7391-1765-1.